All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Melissa Parkerson. I am the secretary for camp. And so hopefully you've seen me around, or at least my name around. We're happy that you all could hop on this call today. Um, Hopefully you all remember this is an open discussion and it's not a presentation. And so there will be nobody kind of just talking about everything they've done. We're just going to kick it off in the sense of first kind of anybody who has events like these to kind of tell us a little bit about what they do, and then just kind of starting the discussion to see what all people have thought of, what they've tried, what they haven't tried, but are thinking about trying, um, and all those kinds of things. So I'll keep an eye on the waiting room just to make sure that we continue to let people in as we hop on. But hopefully you guys remember this all started with the Welcome to the City events, which I know originally kind of was thought of in the sense of, and there were two kind of thoughts when we started talking about this. Is one was kind of, what do you do with people who maybe move to a city? So new alumni that maybe come to a city, do you do any kind of event in that region to kind of kick off welcoming them and letting them know what all's going on in their area? But then there was the other side too that somebody had mentioned, where the alumni association or the university is going to certain events and they do welcome to the city events for OSU or for their university's administration or for representatives for alumni to come and meet with them. So there's kind of two different thoughts. I'll kind of start with the thought of first alumni that move to an area and doing a welcome to the city event, where maybe you have a chapter or a regional group in that area, or some way to kind of welcome them, or even if they were new coming back home as alumni. But I'm going to just open it up and let somebody just kind of start talking.
I'll start. So I think as I might have kicked off this lovely conversation, so I'll voice. And I did kick it off because we are not considering, we are going to be hosting our first Welcome to the City event in Denver this summer. My colleague is actually the one who's hosting it, and she's at a conference right now, so she wasn't able to participate, so I'll do my best. But we're looking at hosting the first Welcome to the City event in Denver. This one is tailored more towards the idea of welcoming new alumni to the area, using our Denver Alumni Network kind of as the catalyst to get people involved and engaged with the Alumni Association. We did do a couple of separate calls with a few different institutions that has been wildly helpful in just providing different context points. And I would say, generally speaking, people have tried a lot of different things, and I would say that the most common areas of opportunity would be having more intentional conversations around how you're getting people in the door, what incentives there may or may not be, if people are getting charged to be there or not being charged to be there, and what that kind of looks like. And then just making sure that you're considering whether or not it makes sense for your audience to include other speakers or university leadership, or if it's more casual in nature. So that's kind of where we started. Context of the event that we're going to be hosting. We're kind of married to a lot of the things that we've decided on at this point, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. So we're going to do a more casual event at just like a social space. So at the Punch Bowl Social in Denver, if anyone's familiar with that, just a large open space with a lot of games. We're going to have food, some appetizers and drinks provided. We'll do a drink ticket, no charge to get in the door. Our Denver Alumni Network will help us host, but we will have multiple people from our staff on site there. So really excited. We'll see how it goes. And then here in a few months, I'll have more to report back.
I can kind of jump in and share what we did last year at South Carolina. Um, so we call them Launching Your Gamecock Journey. We did them in 3 cities closest to Columbia, where we knew our sort of larger population of alumni were. They were really small. We did them in kind of low key bar type areas, but we did it in partnership with Parent and Family Programming. So we made sure that we were inviting um, the freshmen and their parents in that area. And then we also had athletics there, we had housing there, and we had student affairs there. So that we kind of just floated. It was not a formal um, like program or presentation, but those people were available to answer questions about all those things. We had lots of people that asked about athletics and tickets and that kind of thing. So it was really low key. We didn't charge anything. We I think having parent and family programming email it out to try to get more attendance really helped because it added to some, what's the word? Sort of made it a little more, seem more important, like they really needed to go and be there kind of thing. And then we did some giveaways to further encourage attendance. So it went really well. We're doing them again this summer. And then we're also going to create kind of a, to your point, Tanner, kind of a club opportunity. So some of our local clubs further away can sort of have a guidebook of how to do it themselves. And then we would provide the logistical support for that.
Hey, my name is Stacia. I'm located in Central Missouri at a small private college called Central Methodist University. We're located in a small, very small town in Central Missouri. So we host some alumni events. We market them as we just call them alumni socials, and we host them in Kansas City, St. Louis, Columbia, Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, and then we do one here in Fayette, Missouri, where we're located. So we do 5 a year, and we charge for all of them, anywhere from $10 to $25, depending on where it is and what is included in that. Like sometimes it might be an open bar, like in Kansas City, we host it at Boulevard Brewery. Some of our Missouri people might know how exciting that is. And so that's probably one that's a little bit more expensive because it's an open bar. All the Boulevard beers are included. And some of the, like our St. Louis one is actually hosted by an alum that hosts it for us. He chooses to host an open bar at his country club. So that one is actually free for us, but we charge a $10 ticket price. And then that is that goes to our annual fund as a donation. That's not something that we get often from our alumni, but that's pretty exciting that we have an alum who does that. But we kind of market them as socials, and we charge for everyone. Our president comes to all of them and speaks and kind of gives an update, and normally has some kind of exciting news to share. We try to bring a faculty or staff member. Like 2 years ago, we had a new athletic director. So we called it the Dog and Pony Show. We brought him on the Dog and Pony Show. We had a new band director this year. So she came on a few of them. So we try to bring somebody who might be an interest to our alumni with us. And if not, then we just have, new news to share with our alumni. And we don't do a big giveaway, but we do like a small little tchotchke giveaway, like a koozie or, something small. Our alumni seem to not really care about the giveaways, honestly. They're just there to see each other. And then we always we do a lot of photos for our alumni. They really care about the photos for some reason. That's a lot of their favorite things. And then we send the photos out afterwards with a survey, always asking for suggestions. And we've also expanded some of these events in the Kansas City and St. Louis area to do some family events at ballparks. So Royals games and Cardinals games for kind of family style events. Those I would not call socials because we don't get a chance to visit with our alumni. It's just really more like family day at the ballpark. So we do a lot of other events. That's my main job. If anybody's interested, I know that camp doesn't really focus on events a lot, but if anybody is interested in talking events, I am all ears. So I'm here to listen.
Anybody else that has events that they can talk about?
Hi there. I can jump in. My name's Sarah Lamazzo. I'm from UConn. So we have been doing these events for a number of years. We have 26 alumni networks that are pretty active that we do them in, but they kind of look a little different based on like our critical mass of alumni in those areas when it comes to like charging and that sort of thing. So typically for our larger networks that are like closer to Connecticut or in Connecticut, like New York City, Boston, that we have to get like contracts in place for, all that kind of stuff. Like we do charge for those events, and it helps us with our melt and our numbers. But some of our smaller networks, like for example, I work with some of our networks in Ohio, Columbus and Cincinnati, and it's a smaller mass of alums there. Those are kind of just pay your own way events. So we call our events Huskies in Your City. We do them specifically in the September to November timeframe every year. Really, our goal is to target younger alums. So we do casual social settings. Typically, staff members will travel based on the number, but we don't really bring in any university partners. It's really charged by our alumni networks in these cities and our volunteers that help us run these events. So one thing we were able to do last year is do a survey with graduating students, updating their emails. So we do kind of targeted outreach to them to have them like save the date that these events are going to be in these cities based on where they're moving to, because many aren't sure yet when they're graduating in May. So we do that follow up to kind of plug those events and really get those class of 2020 or whatever that year is in the room to meet with our alums that have been in these areas. And then I heard some people talking about like giveaways and swag things. So what we did this past year, which I'd be curious if anyone else does something similar, we asked questions in the registration process of alums that live in those areas, like what's your favorite restaurant? What's a tip you have for living in this city, navigating it? And then anyone who answered those questions was automatically entered into a, like, can't really use the word raffle, but to have their name drawn, and then they win a prize pack. So so we got some really good feedback from that. But it doesn't export in the most glamorous way. So I'd be curious if anyone does any like kind of city guides for these areas that maybe you're in, that alums have a wealth of knowledge in for folks that are moving there. So yeah, that's kind of a snapshot of what we do. It's been pretty successful. And yeah, they're pretty just social events, getting people out and excited.
Anyone else have an event to add? Does anybody have questions? Otherwise, this will be the really quick little get together.
Does anybody have like what was the most successful like social or event that somebody's hosted?
So my name's Christina. Sorry, I'm not on camera. But we did something over spring break where our jazz band was touring Knox College. We're in Galesburg, Illinois. We're a small liberal arts school. But wherever our jazz band was touring, we had alumni get-togethers so that they could come listen to jazz and then, do something after. So they got to connect with some current students and then also the alumni in the area. That seemed to be pretty successful and fun. But then you asked for questions too. So I'm just going to throw this out there while other people are thinking too. Do you guys do any like welcome to our city packages? Like we've talked about doing an alumni directory or something where we say like, hey, welcome to Cincinnati. Here's all of the alumni owned businesses in your area that you might be able to support or connect with, something like that.
We've talked about the same thing. I don't have a good answer because we haven't landed on a decision either. I think the largest hesitancy that we've had up to this point is where that information is then hosted and how it gets updated. Just making sure that it's timely information, and there's a lot of hands that would essentially need to be touching it to make sure that it's either not out of date or it's the right contact info, or what do you have to meet in order to be included on said directory if it's a business, for example. So we've had those conversations too, but have not moved in that direction.
Hi, Marie Amos from the University of South Carolina. We have a business directory, but businesses pay to be on our business directory. So it's a little bit less like a city guide, places to explore whenever you're in Columbia, and more like a, alumni-owned businesses who, pay to be, advertised in a certain way on our website.
I didn't mean to hijack Stacia's question either, like any other super successful events that you guys have done.
You mentioned some ballpark days, and one of the most, we do them as well. So we do UW Night at the Rockies. And previously what they would do is host an event at a bar beforehand, and then everyone would go over to the game. But this last year, the most recent one that we hosted, we actually kind of went through the process of getting a place in park to have that event. So we opened that up as the VIP experience, essentially, where people could purchase a higher cost ticket to go in, and then it came with food and discounted drinks while they were up there up until the first pitch. And we sold that out, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before the event, and had about 550, 600 people up there. So I would say that was exploring getting people in the park was huge for our audience, at least.
So did you do that instead of doing it like a pre-event?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
We've had a lot of people
did casually still meet at the bar because it was a very consistent bar. But it was just inside. Yeah.
We've had a lot of people ask for like the pre thing, and we kind of just don't want to deal with it because we want it to be more of like a family style event. And also we just don't know how many people would show up when we have like 300, 400 people coming to the ballpark. We don't want to say we need space for 300 people and then only have like 50 people show up. So we're kind of just like, no, it's just a ballpark day. That's what it is. So for now, that's what we're doing. We'll
Totally
see. But we are, one of the feedbacks we get for that event is that nobody knows who's like a Central alum. And so we're like, oh, well, wear your Central gear, but nobody really wants to do that because you're going to like a Royals game or a Cardinals game. So we started making like kind of big like alumni stickers that we're sending out, like we're mailing out beforehand, which I think people kind of got on board with. So they can still wear their, baseball stuff, but then they're still wearing like their Eagles stickers or their Central stickers. And then they know when they're sitting next to somebody that they're in the same group, which I thought was kind of a good idea.
I like that a lot. I think the swag item is awesome.
Sorry, hijacked. So I'm new, so I've been working on filling out my calendar, and baseball is huge. Everybody wants to do baseball games, and luckily, like some of our more local baseball teams, like the AAA or I don't know, minor leagues, whatever they are, they usually have an opportunity. Like I'm doing one in the Tri-Cities, and they have like a all-you-can-eat barbecue before the game, like in their little space. So there's usually, I've found there's those kinds of opportunities that aren't crazy expensive. And one thing one of our alums asked for that I haven't been able to do yet because they'd already bought swag for the year was like a pin, like a hat pin. And so I was kind of looking into those, and there's some that you can like do like hat clips that like slide on, and so you won't have the pin thing. Just throwing that out there. But one of our biggest events is we do the game with the Mariners, and they do co-branding. So we get a jersey that has our brand and their brand, which is really cool. And I know that's really big. I think we're projected to sell about 1,500 tickets this year or something like that. So yeah, anytime you can pair up with that, it makes your life a lot easier.
We are definitely not big enough to do that, but that is really cool. I
Yeah.
hope someday we could do that, but we can't. I keep trying to get like our mascot on the field and they keep telling me like, no, what school are you even?
Yeah, we get to throw out the first pitch. Like we've got I think our football coach is doing it this year, and we'll have Joe Vandal on the field. So kind of cool. But yeah, some of your more like smaller teams though, you can I know if you get enough people, usually they'll do some sort of co-branding with you, or definitely making those connections is always a good idea. I'm doing a
That's-
small event with the Trailblazers in Portland. There's not very many people coming, but I'm hoping to like grow it. So we'll see how it goes.
So, hi everyone, Shannon English. I'm with Yale here in New Haven. And so Stasia, I have been working with my Yankee sales rep, and what he did last year, and it was only $10. We did Yankee baseball caps, and on the side, he put our shield on it. I was like, wait, only $10. What do you mean? And I think it's because of, how many we had ordered. So I wonder if the Royals can do something like that for you guys too.
Yeah, that would be really cool. No, I don't think they would, but no, that would be awesome. I wish. I mean, for the Cardinals, we order like 300 tickets. For the Royals, it's a lot less, but no, I tried to get we have a really good fine arts department with some really good singers who already go and sing the national anthem at these stadiums. And so I was like, could we already have like an alum sing that day? Like, and they're like, no, it's already set like years in advance. And I'm like, they already do it though. You guys already invite them. And they're like, sorry, like they won't. And this is our third year. I'm kind of like, you can't work with me a little bit. But maybe hopefully soon. But these are all really good ideas though. I'm gonna write hat down or something. Maybe I'll just start doing some illegal hats. Like some black market Cardinals hats. Uh what about what about some other giveaways for events though? I know I said I just do some small ones. Are there any like big giveaways that people do that alumni just really seem to like? We always are struggling for what to give away.
I'm going to piggyback that stated real quick. While you guys are talking about that, also include if you do door prizes, so like even if it is just to try to entice people to come to these socials or networks, if there's anything that you provide or do that was unique that would try to drive attendance.
For us, we do a lot of hats too. We do not typically do door prizes, but we're going to try and get a good chunk of croquis this year. Ironically, people have mentioned in survey and writing more than one time and more than one person, have to clarify all of those things, like chip clips, which is very interesting to me. And sunscreen, lip balm, things like that.
I just gave away chip clips for the last year, and it was like the most popular item I've ever given away.
Okay, good to know.
They were 91 cents from 4imprint. I'm telling you, it was the best item I just ever gave away.
Great. I love that.
Because it's a magnet. I mean, you use a chip clip every day at your house. I bet. So it said alumni on it. We branded it alumni and people liked it. I order one giveaway for socials. And so I did a chip clip last year and I couldn't come up with anything better than a chip clip. And this year I'm doing a luggage tag. It's kind of like wah wah, but I did the kind of cheap rubbery one. But I still think it'll be cool. It's kind of like a bright green color, artwork green. It was still like 90 cents. So anything under $1 is what I'm looking for. I don't know if you guys we are a small school and we have no money as usual. So we're Yeah, okay, so what about the door prizes? I thought that was a good idea. Who gives away door prizes?
We sort of do, in some of our events, and we have a pretty good relationship with our athletics department, and they sometimes help us out by getting some stuff, because one of the gals over there is the one who works on licensing products. I don't know if you guys have any licensed products for your school. We have we had a wine, working on a new wine, and like a beer, and chips I think are coming soon, but stuff like that. And so she'll put together a basket for me, and then what we use it as is, if you give us your information, so we're capturing information at the thing, if you let us know you're here, make sure your stuff's updated, and then you can get an entry into, we'll give this away tonight, so type of a thing. So it's a good way to get people's information. Always. And I don't think I said, I'm from the University of Idaho. I don't know if I mentioned that.
I guess I kind of do that. We have there's like a music teacher conference that we host, like a quick social at. Obviously, we don't make them register because they've already registered for the conference. So I just have them sign in with their email. And if they put their email down, I'll just like do a quick, run my finger down the list. If my finger stops on your name, then I have like 10 prizes that's who wins. So I guess I kind of do something similar for an event like that. Do you think that a big door prize like that would help draw attendance? I always feel like I'm not going to go to an event just because there's a door prize. That's kind of how I feel. Yeah.
So we found, like, I think, I can't remember who mentioned it, but sometimes charging like $10 or, $15, makes people feel like they have some skin in the game and they'll end up coming. Obviously, when we host large events with the dean or the president and they're free, people sign up and then they don't show. So I can have like 300, 400 people register, but I'm only guaranteeing, about 50% of that. So I'm pretty sure we all know that. Like, yeah, I see all the heads nodding. So I don't think swag or anything really helps to drive attendance. It's really, I do think faculty having, staff and faculty there present, we use their images sometimes on event invitations or event reminder emails. I think that kind of helps people know, like, there's vision and name recognition, sight and name recognition. So using that, I think, really helps too. And then charging when you can.
I know this isn't the door prize situation, but one of the weirdest freebies, that we had at an event that people for some reason actually really loved were nail files. Like the bigger ones. And we all thought, this is dumb, but we're going to go ahead and get them because we've never done them before. And they would be one of the first things that went and were gone. Sometimes men grab them. They're like, oh, it's for my wife. Like it's always like but they get it and they grab it. Another one was car scent air fresheners, like the little cheapy cardboardy kind of things that hang. They were a picture of our mascot and everybody grabbed those too. And those are pretty inexpensive, just grab and go kind of things. But I was kind of surprised on each of those that people would actually gravitate, because we do koozies a lot. And I will say probably a lot of our people are the same people that attend a lot of our events in their areas. And so they probably have boxes of koozies from us, because every time we have an event, there's always koozies available. So that's why we were trying to think of some things that we have never done before to try to differentiate from the years before.
The car freshener idea is interesting. So was it like a die cut car freshener?
Mhm.
It was.
Yeah, but it was pretty inexpensive. Like I said, it's that cardboard material. And so that brought the cost down. It's not like a one that you would keep forever or anything.
Yeah.
Because I compared those to versus the ones that that you stick on your vent and those kind, and those are way more expensive than the cardboard type.
Yeah.
I just had this idea come to me. What if I'm going to try to flush this out. So for these welcome to the city events, I imagine many of us have, chapter leaders or, club presidents, whatever we call them, in those regions that we lean on to support. And I know it's kind of hard to put and it's more work for us, let's be honest, if we try to do city guides. What if we reaching out? Has anyone reached out to any of the CVBs in those cities? I'm going to use New Haven as an example. I have a pretty close relationship with the New Haven. I don't even know what they're called anymore. We hosted when we host conferences, I reach out to them and they give me like maps and all kinds of things. I wonder if, leaning on our volunteers to kind of reach out to I guess CVB is the best thing to call them. Has anyone done anything like that? No.
Good idea, though.
Usually
Because they
open
do
my
a lot of
mouth.
work to get all that ready and to do those kinds of things. And usually most of them have websites that have these things already created about what they're
Right, like
saying.
maybe and like including those links on these like registration pages or like a QR code at the event, like welcome to your new city, here's a QR code for, I don't know. It's just, again, I'm rambling.
Yeah.
I know our local Chamber of Commerce always makes those little maps that are like little, and you just unfold them and then you fold them back. They were really cool. I wish I had them to show you, but they're really quite cool. And yeah, like you don't really need to reinvent the wheel. All this information is there. You just have to kind of compile it. And I know I shared in the chat one that I found that I think does really good. I think is really cool how they have it set up. I think it's kind of fun. But one thing I was thinking of when we were talking about, you guys were talking about your like mixers and stuff, the welcome to the city ones. Like what if, and like with our notable alums or like the people who have relevant like businesses in that city kind of set up like a table and kind of like let them know, say, hey, I've got this here, and something like that would be kind of cool, I think. Give them a little more ownership and a little more skin in the game, sort of a thing.
Or have like a table of flyers, or that might be too old school, but so like some table of, I don't know, because that
Yeah,
might be
just
too
like,
many
yeah,
tables depending on
right.
how many people have businesses,
Yeah.
but like something like that.
Yeah, you
A
could have like a
QR
couple
code
people
where
at a
they can
table so
scan
that
to see how many how many
yeah.
businesses are in the area.
Anybody else, or maybe anybody who hasn't talked yet that would have any kind of, or seen anything or heard of another institution that's done something that you thought was cool that you wanted to share, or any other ideas for welcome to the city type events or new to the area? Don't be shy. Jump on in. Parker, you're never shy. Why are you not talking? Your connection's not doing great.
Oh, all the more reason, huh?
Yeah, now it is.
All right, all right. So at ASU, we've never really done this kind of thing. We actually have a really great, summer event series with admissions. So our send-offs, they're for all incoming first year students and transfer students. So we're looking to iterate on that and kind of add that young alumni, re-engagement opportunity. So we're tinkering with that. I'm just happy to be here and hearing from a few other people. So yeah.
Anything else anybody wants to discuss or brainstorm, or anything that, does anybody else do the type of event that the other people were talking about? I know Trish from Colorado was talking about how they kind of do a traveling event that kind of goes from area to area where they take leadership or administration to the areas. Does anybody here do anything like that? It's kind of a
We
traveling
do.
group.
We do for the University of South Carolina. We do
Okay.
president's receptions. So, well, recently we've actually had a series where our new AD, our new athletic director, and our president went together and they both spoke. And then, if we had any like board of governors members in the area, they would also take a chance to speak. But those have done really, really well in attendance. Like we usually have like around 200 people there at each event in each city, and we've stayed relatively local for the past few of them, but we are doing DC next, so
Hmm.
we'll see how that one does.
How do you guys advertise these events? Is it email? Do you do mailings, phone calls, Facebook, social media, other social medias?
We do, honestly, we really just do email. We have an Eventbrite, so anyone who follows our Eventbrite page also gets a notification, but mainly email. Yeah, targeted email.
We do
You do
email, but
and social.
we've started texting too. Granted, we're a smaller school, but we actually have gotten more responses, or not more, but better response rates via text than email. Just because right in the text, we're like, hey, do you think you can make it? Let me know. And people will either say yes or no. Or you'll get the occasional like unsubscribe, stop harassing me. But
Who are you texting through?
we use Mongoose.
Okay. Is anybody still mailing? I mean, we still mail.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
still mail too. Mhm.
a few people are okay.
We mail occasionally, but not for events.
I think we have so much just out of date. I think we need to do a data cleanup. So I think mailing is like something we have to do because we don't have very good emails. So, um,
We did start using texting as well, because for us, there were a lot of issues with using text for asking for money.
mhm.
So we thought, okay, well, what's another way that we can engage with people through text that's not asking for money? And so events was obviously our first go-to. And so we started doing it for anybody in the area when there's a larger event that's going on that we're trying to push. So we have a pretty good response. I will say if you do texting, make sure you've got a solicit code that you can code people so that you can get them out of the text process. That was one thing we didn't have before because we just weren't doing any texting. And when we did the first round, we're like, oh crud, now we got to think about how to code these people to not get text again from us in the future. But I will say we use a company, it's Get Through, GETTHRU is who we use. And it does code it in the back end. Like when somebody does the unsubscribe back through the text, it codes them in their system as well. We do both ways. We'll get the report and code them in our CRM, but then also it takes them out for future too to try to kind of a double whammy of unsubscribe kind of situation. But
Okay, so it's kind of like our email, like we have Emma for email. So if they unsubscribe there, then they wouldn't
right.
get it. Got it. Cool. I like the texting. I think we've been interested in that. Um, we have not found a platform that has worked for just texting for us yet.
Another thing we use the texting for too is for all those that registered for an event, kind of as a reminder, it sends out a quick details text.
Yeah.
And that we hope is sometimes helping people remember that they registered for the event and actually come, especially for our free events. Because I agree in the sense of a lot of times when you don't charge something, they they want to come, but then they just decide not to come. So that tries to help and remind them because sometimes the email they may not see until who knows when. So the text, we know they at least will see it and go, oh yeah, I was supposed to go to that tomorrow. So
That's cool.
all right. Anything else? Anything else? Why we just got this wonderful group of people that anybody wants to ask a question that's dealing with events or anything like that?
Actually,
I do have one.
oh.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, I do have one. I don't know who it was, but I do have one helpful thing for whoever said they don't have a lot of good emails on file. If you do anything with like recent grads, we have an event called GradFest, and we get all the updated emails through that event for the most part. We just set up a little computer screen and, have people update their information. We made a form on JotForm, and then someone goes in and actually like puts all that stuff on JotForm into CRM. But we just give them a little grad gift if they update their information. So if they want the grad gift, they come in, type in their information, and we actually ask for a non-USC, like non-university email. So that way they have to put their Gmail or whatever it is.
What do you use as your giveaway?
We do we've done different stuff in years past, but I think the past 2 years we've done like a little branded like suitcase tag, travel tag. I'm forgetting the correct name for it. We did that, and then just like a little pen and then a little sticker.
I just ordered mine this morning as well for this year. It's the new like spinner pin, the new fidget pin. Have you guys seen those? I don't have the sample of it right here, but like it kind of looks like a regular pin, but up here it has like a spin, not like the big bulky one, but it's like thin where it just like spins like Google spinner pin, and it looks like a regular pen. So I'm hoping that for graduates, actually I probably should have showed it to a student and been like, is this cool? Because they're probably gonna be like, no, those are lame and you just spent a lot of money on those. But that's what I just got this morning. I just ordered them. So I think they're really cool. But I am out of school for a long time, so it probably means they're not cool.
We do a similar thing for our graduates though. So we set up a table at grad fair, and then we incentivize them to fill out the form, also asking for their non-UW email by giving them a free drink at a senior send-off event that we host at a brewery downtown. And then we'll have a few raffle items there. But that's about the only place we'll do a raffle item.
So our career center asks for all that information, and then they share that with us. And so I don't want to ask them like 100 times for that information. So we just like talk to them.
Yeah, we recently started having the registrar's office. When they sign up to graduate, they have to sign up with another email besides their App State email. And that's worked out really good.
That brings up a good point, Karen, in the sense of our career group does a survey to all soon-to-be grads. Our registrar obviously gets a new mailing address because they have to mail their diploma and all those kind of things. But I don't know if they ask for a non-EDU email address.
They have to. I mean, they do now. We started a couple of years ago, and it has been fantastic.
Yeah, because we do a lot of that ask at our event, like update your stuff and trying to get those non-OSU things. But I'll have to check on the registrar.
We just asked them, and they just put it in. They decided it was a good idea, and they put it in.
It would help. One things that we just did for one of our things was we've done the luggage tags before, which a lot of people do like this. But we did the luggage grip, that goes around the handle. So it's a little bit bigger and bolder, and you can see it, when it's going around the conveyor belt. But that was one that we just recently did that a lot of people really liked and wanted.
We do at our fair, we give them like a license plate thing, goes around your license plate, and a little like pin it they can hang on their wall or whatever that says, "Damn glad I'm a Vandal grad," which they seem to love. And then we do window cleans for their car as well, I think is their big things that we give away.
We've done the little journals, or like the kind of like a mini journal that says alum on it, real big. We thought those would be kind of professional looking for our recent grads. I don't know if they liked them or used them or not, but they took them. So
we use those for travelers. We have a travel that we do, and we always, especially if they're going someplace like the Galapagos or Cuba, something like that, we give them a journal to write in, and they love it.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Oh, I guess that kind of reminds me, we've done notepads. We make branded like event specific notepads. Um, so this one we had 50 years of women's athletics last year, and that was here on campus, and our bookstore can make these like notepads for us. And so we pass these out with just like the pens that we have in our office. And this was like the little giveaway that we put at the banquet dinner. So this was a really inexpensive, specific branded like giveaway that we gave at our event. And of course, I mean, I don't want to be sexist, but I feel like all women love a good notepad. And then it was very specific for the event. So we actually got a lot of people reaching out being like, I couldn't make it to the event, but so and so sent me a picture of the notepad. Can you send me one? And of course, we had a lot of extra, so we were sending out some of those. But we've done that. That was actually the homecoming giveaway this year, was a homecoming notepad, because we figured people could stick those in their pockets or their purses kind of easily. I don't know. Again, I don't know if people liked them or not, but those were kind of cheap and easy to give out. So that's been the newer thing. We've been branding everything with a specific event and throwing it on a piece of paper and giving it out as a notepad.
Something that we give as a raffle was different events was like a poster. So we had one of our alum had did this for us, and she did it she did a picture of the campus for every season. And that has been just going over so big. Like you said, people will call in and say, I couldn't make it, but can I get a poster?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it helps that it's one of our alum that does it. She just graduated a couple of years ago and she worked in our office. So we asked her can you figure out something to do? And she did. And so they love it.
Huh. Yeah, that's neat.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to visit with? We got like 5 more minutes or so. So if there's anything else that's the pressing issue that you'd like to ask the group while we've got everybody. I really appreciate everybody hopping on. I know it's kind of a different campfire because it's not a presentation, but there were a lot of talk on the listserv of people kind of interested in this topic. So I wanted to provide a platform for people to at least be able to hop on and ask some questions. And please feel free if this spawned any other questions, please feel free to post it to the listserv and we'll get some different answers. I know not everybody could obviously get on today. So I'm sure there's still some answers out there that you can get. But yeah, I really appreciate you hopping on and visiting with everybody. All right, everybody. Thank you again. Have a good rest of your day.
Organizing.